So here we have the review of the 1100 Ducati Scrambler. I'm a huge fan of the Scrambler range. 400, 800, they all feel the same. What about the 1100? To be honest with you, it doesn't feel quite like it's in the Scrambler family. It looks like one, but for me, it also kind of looks like a monster. Do you agree? Hit the comments, let me know. But for me, it also feels a little bit like an in-between a Scrambler and a monster. Now, why is that? Well, it's bigger. It's just for the street. You're not going to find this bike blazing down any dirt trails like I do on my 800. It's a little bit more refined. It's got some real hardcore Brembo brakes that stop very well, dual discs, which are not on the 800 and not on the 400. You can't take the ABS fully off, which really limits this bike to its capabilities, because off-road you need to take the ABS off because the brakes work totally different off-road than they do on-road. So really this bike is meant for the street, and what the Scrambler stands for is really kind of losing a little bit of its flavour. But how does she ride on the street? Well, she actually rides really well. The Öhlins suspension, the Brembo brakes give you great feedback. You've got these big exhausts that come up here. And here in Thailand it's quite hot and humid, and I've really noticed that on the right hand side of this bike it gets very hot indeed. Just those like fine little details make a big difference, especially when you're in the city, you're in traffic, and you really notice the right side of this motorcycle. You've got some really big bars here. Again, I felt like they were just too big. I just didn't feel like it felt like with my Icon, the 800 or the 400. This bike just feels different. It's got a good, powerful V-twin torquey engine, bags of torque, bags of power. Power is not a problem. What the problem is for me is it's just not as user-friendly and as versatile. And I'm a rider who likes to take a trail if I see one that I like, or use a motorcycle in a more adventurous way. It comes with a few other kind of creature comforts that are not on the other motorcycles. It's got traction control, it's got good ABS, adjustable suspension, very good rear shock here. Cockpit wise, it does look like a Scrambler. It does feel like a Scrambler with the dash. It has a very ugly front brake line. The Icon is no different with the clutch cable and the brake cable, so that's iconic really with the Scrambler range. I'd like to see some of that just a little bit more refined and tucked away, because it's just not unnecessary to have something as big and as kind of like unsightly as cables running everywhere. It's also a naked bike, so a bike like this, you do get some wind right in your face, you do get some fatigue. Also, I found with the turning circle of this bike had its limitations too. With the Icon that I have, I'm able to really turn on a dime. With this one, unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that. It seems like the headstock comes very close to the tank. It's more like a 3-point turn than a quick U-turn. Passenger seat's pretty big, it's comfortable, but there's not really some good grab rails there. It's got a nice big seat, but nothing really for them to hold on to other than just under the seat here. It's still a good motorcycle, but for me, my favourite Scrambler is the 800. It's by far more versatile, and realistically, it's got enough power for most scenarios. Overall, it's just a bigger, heavier, more docile kind of motorcycle. It's a powerful motorcycle, it's a good looking motorcycle, but for me, unfortunately, it's just lost some of its real Scrambler heritage and what the Scrambler brand, in my opinion, stands for, which is being able to take a trail. This motorcycle is definitely a street only bike. So the rest of the Scrambler range, in my opinion, is superb. But if you want power and you want a bike that looks pretty mean, take a look at the Scrambler. But for me, I'm keeping my 800. Oh, man. She's going to open that gate and make some noise, right? And this definitely has its restrictions.
Cut for plain end, dog.
If you want to put a screen up,